What's going on, everyone? Going to take the history. Coming to you here from Oak Hill Cemetery in Claremont, Florida. I've done 1 or 2 videos here before. Did a live here about a month ago. I'm a little out of breath. I've been walking in the cemetery trying to find the same grave I was looking for before. I have a good belief that he's potentially maybe cremated, or he may be placed in one of the mausoleums. So I'm heading over there right now to check it out. Thankfully, this isn't a massive cemetery, maybe 10,000 interments, maybe. So it's not terrible. So it's not like 100,000 at the Florida National Cemetery, but it's a decent size, especially when you're walking it. So we're gonna go over here and check to see. It's one place I haven't checked yet. So we're gonna see if I can find the final resting place. Let's check it out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. So yeah, I'm still striking out. I went and checked out the niche gardens. I checked out the mausoleum. No luck. So I'm walking over here again, areas I've been before. That's the thing you don't know. I don't know if there's already a headstone. I don't know what the headstone looks like. All I'm doing is pretty much looking to see if I can find some areas that have been disturbed, and then looking to see what the nameplate says. All I do know is that Gary Canafel is supposedly laid to rest here somewhere. There's a couple graves towards the back that someone has removed the sticker from, which sometimes happens. Maybe weather has removed it, or maybe it was intentionally removed to ensure privacy. Because again, you want to make sure that your loved ones are resting peacefully, especially depending on the circumstances of their passing, good, bad, and sometimes ugly. So it's definitely understandable as to why some people would like to take and keep their loved ones private, which you can understand. But yeah, so it's probably the 3rd time I've been here, if not more. I feel like I've gone through most areas. I feel like I've surveyed and have made some good efforts. I've been hoping that it would be like a worker who would come by just to kind of survey the property, and I could say, hey, mind helping me out some? Do you think you could point me in the direction of potentially where a final resting place might be? Sometimes, some of the workers are willing and able to help you. Some of them are just there to cut grass. You would think, especially if there's a decently prominent interment in a cemetery, that they would know about it and could at least point you in the direction. Sometimes they do. I've actually met some really nice people at cemeteries. I've had people who were working in an area and have actually kind of moved to a little bit of a different area, which to them actually slowed down their day, which could be a really good thing or a really bad thing, depending. Glasses are fogging up a little bit. So yeah, I'm looking out here at the cemetery. I'll show you a little bit of it. So yeah, I did a live here about a month ago. There's only a few areas I haven't fully checked. I haven't fully checked some of these areas here. I kind of went through quickly before. I've been here for like over an hour and a half. It's not a massive cemetery, but it's a decent sized cemetery. So what you're trying to look for, especially if there's a new interment, is you're trying to find areas where the ground has been disturbed. Because normally after someone's been interred for close to a year or so, it's not as easy to tell. A lot of times the ground kind of starts to harden a little bit. That's also why there's normally a grace period before the marker can be placed. Normally they wouldn't allow time for the ground to settle. But I'm not really seeing any. Not really seeing any new spots. So unless one of the final resting places up at the top of the hill that I've already been to that doesn't have a marker, unless one of those is, or if he already has a grave marker, he was in his 80s, so maybe that's one of those things that was already kind of planned and ready to go. That would make sense. I definitely would, at least if I just knew what the grave marker looked like, if I knew if it was an above ground marker or below ground marker. Like, I have nothing to go off of. I just know that he's supposedly buried here. And it's one of those unfortunate things. Let me go over here. Let's fix this. One of the things that happens a lot of times when we come to cemeteries is it's nice to go in and, fix things. We see something falling over, pick it up. See some trash somewhere, pick it up. I would hope that if my loved ones were somewheres and someone saw something, that they would be as courteous to keep things clean. I am striking out. There's a good chance I may have to call the cemetery and just say, hey, can you point me the direction? You guys have to stare at the ground. Yeah, I've literally surveyed everything. There's, I believe this is 2 right up top of the hill out that way that are fairly fresh. And the sense of that I mean by that is that they've the ground has been dug up and disturbed, and they have temporary markers. But unfortunately, it's kind of sad that when we come sometimes is that you see temporary markers from 10 years ago. And I've seen a lot of people, a little bit different subject, but I've seen a lot of people who go to cemeteries and they clean old gravestones, and it's something I definitely have looked into. May film it, may not. Depends. Let me know down in the comments below if that's something you'd like to see. And one of the things that's really depressing is there's certain areas I kind of avoid anyway. Like, for example, I don't go into the areas. I tend to avoid the children's sections because they're very depressing. So I tend to avoid those sections. But going back to what I was talking about with the temporary markers is that some of these people have been here for 10 years and still have a temporary marker. And that's super sad. It's almost as sad as the ones that, and that's actually even more sad, I guess you could say, than the ones that are dirty. Because at least they have a marker, I guess you could say. It makes you want to save up money. I don't know. Makes me want to create a foundation or something, or a non-profit, or start a campaign that people could donate to, and then the revenue from that could be used to purchase people's grave markers. At least something. Everyone deserves to have a final resting place. Everyone deserves to have a marker with their name on it, showing, you know, their existence in life. You know, one of the big whys that I have for my channel is making sure that people are not lost to history. Because eventually, you know, time passes by. I've talked about this extensively, and I will continue to talk about it, is that, you know, it's pretty upsetting the fact that people typically pass away twice. There is the physical passing away, and there's a second passing, let's use the word second passing, when the people who are alive who knew them no longer know these people. When their memory is gone because everyone who knew them is gone as well. And that's even more depressing in some instances, is that to know that these people are lost to time. So one of the big things I try to do with my channel is I try to, you know, make sure that these people are not lost to time. And when I look out here and I see some of these grave markers, especially ones that are a decade old or longer, and they have a very distressed or even completely almost unreadable temporary little marker, and it just makes me sad. So I don't know, let's get some ideas. You know, I may take and start up a campaign whereas people can donate money, and then, you know, find different ways of how that money can be donated into like a general fund to provide these people with grave markers. So for those who can't afford one, you know, everyone deserves something, you know, to show, you know, who they were and, you know, what impact they had. So that's something, you know, I may be looking into, is finding, you know, the logistics and the legalities of that. But yeah. So unfortunately, this video did not take and cover a topic that I wanted to. I've been here 4 times before. I've driven through a couple times when I've been over here looking for Gary Cannifel's final resting place. I'm probably just going to break down a call. There's not even an office around here, which is unfortunate, because I probably would just walk up and go, hey, you might help me out? But no, I haven't been able to find him. So yeah, definitely will be on the horizon. Definitely look out for the video. Make the phone call. Let me know down in the comments below, you know, if you'd be interested in, would you be someone who'd be willing to contribute to such a fund that would provide some resources that we could donate to these different cemeteries to find grave markers, to be able to fund grave markers? You know, let me know. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, definitely think about it. You know, we do filming locations, haunted locations, true crime, cemetery tours, famous graves, historic locations, filming locations, I think I already said that. Some theme parks. You know, now we have Disney, we have Universal, and we have SeaWorld. And some travel. You know, I'm going to be going out of the state a couple times here in the near future. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Catch you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everyone.